Howdy there, Internet. My name is Walnut, and today we are going to be casting a PvT between Int Gaming's StillaFox and the teamless Blue Zerg Engluf. Now, StillaFox is a very consistent player in my clan. I'm not actually sure why he's playing Terran. He's actually a Zerg player, if I recall correctly. He wrecked me with his roach timings all the time. So it's gonna be interesting to see how good Fox's Terran is. We just see standard openings so far. Nothing too crazy. I don't know a whole lot about this matchup as I don't watch it very often, which is stupid of me. I should be watching all of the matchups in StarCraft. That's no big deal. Just see some overlords moving out. I want to talk about the map actually very quickly. This map is probably going to turn into the next like Daedalus Point or Derelict Watcher. It's a very standard two-player map. Actually see a barracks first here, and then probably a gas will be thrown down next if he's not going CC first. This map's very interesting. I actually really like it. The third base is pretty hard to hold, either situation you take it. It's a very fun map from what I've played of it. I played a PvT and a PvZ on it yesterday on the ladder, and it was fun. I like this map a lot. The main base is laid out in a pretty interesting fashion. It's very wide open. There's a pretty good spot for Reapers here. Oops. Get in there. There we go. Just, I don't know, working with the hotkeys and stuff. I'm not very good at it. Stim's barracks just finishing up now. Looks like actually a hatch first into pool here out of Engluf. This is pretty greedy, but he should be able to hold this. It's going to be a bit dicey against the Reaper for a little while, but he shouldn't lose a whole lot. If StillaFox is able to snipe any drones here, it's going to be a pretty good deal. Engluf picks up his gas now. Looks like he's maybe going to go for Zergling speed, but what's more likely is maybe roaches in a lair. No command center yet for StillaFox. Looks like he's playing fairly safe now. Rallying one SCV out to the natural. Looks like he will be vying to expand pretty soon here. See the Reaper moving out, grabbing that tower, just making sure no shenanigans are up. 4 Zerglings, 2 Queens on the way. This Reaper shouldn't get a whole lot done, but if it does, at the very least it's going to get a lot of scouting information done. Sees the natural, no shenanigans going on there. Sees the pool, sees the gas being mined. Oh, the Zerglings pop out at a pretty unfortunate time there for Fox. Fox's command center does start. Gets a second Reaper, starts his factory. All standard sorts of things. The Reaper begins to regen up. Fox needs to be careful with his micro here, as trying to engage Zerglings on creep is maybe not a good idea. They are slightly faster than a Reaper when Zerglings are on creep. And with the Queens popping out, this Reaper shouldn't get a whole lot more done here. Zergling speed has started. We have a reactor going down probably for some sick Hellion stuffs. Reaper just chilling, trying to regen up. I'm curious about this Reaper back here. I guess this is to prevent... Okay, it's moving out now. I guess it was to prevent any sort of like Zergling run-bys or whatever, but there was none of that stuff coming, so just a little bit safer than maybe necessary. See, a third command center going down. This is pretty ballsy. I'm digging it. Gonna get a lot of mules and a lot of SCVs up very quickly. 2 Hellions nearly done, so we'll see him probably move in to pressure the Zerg again fairly soon with these 2 Reapers and maybe 4 Hellions. Should be able to kite the Zerglings to a pretty good extent and alleviate any sort of disadvantage he might have. Playing pretty safe with these units right now, but just starting to move them across the map. All sorts of standard stuff coming out of the Zerg player. Just throwing on even more Queens. Going to get that sick, nasty creep spread up. Stim starts for Fox, and he looks to be in a very safe position right now. The Overlord does actually spot the third command center. Third base goes down right now. for the Zerg player Engluf. He spots it, Fox spots it right away, begins to burn down that hatchery ever so slowly. Queen's marching on up the ramp. Fox needs to be careful with this. Zerglings scooting around for the wraparound. Move command, better watch out, Fox. Oh my god. Alright, very nice micro here by Fox. Not losing a single one of those units. Wow, very, very nice micro. Will lose a Reaper there, will lose another Hellion. Wow, actually splits off the Reaper to help draw the aggro of the Lings. That was really sick play. 4 more Hellions moving out of the base now. He's just adding on more barracks. Not a whole lot going on. We got 2 Evo chambers for Engluf, but that's pretty standard. He's probably going to go into Zergling Bling Muta, just as always. Third base is about to finish up here. Actually took a lot more damage than I thought it did. Ooh, be careful with those drones there. Very good drone snipes. Kills a creep tumor as well. Wow, was a very big line of drones. Careful. Careful. Oh, wow. Lots and lots of drones being roasted here. Queens just aren't enough damage to kill this many Hellions. He roasted most of the drones at that natural base. 11 drones on the way, but he lost a lot of mining time there. +1/+1 starts up for both players. And the thing is, okay, Baneling Nest starts up for the Zerg player, so this will be Ling Bling Muta. The thing is, Stim's still mining right now, and he's making units. With the Zerg, he lost so many drones that he had to spend all of those larvae on drones. He couldn't spend any of it on attacking units. So right now, if we look at the units, it's 2 Hellions, 6 Marines against, well, 14 Zerglings now. I would bet on the 8 Marines, 2 Hellions any day. Oops. So we have combat shields in production. Overlord speed, actually, that's solid against Terran. You just want to make sure you're not losing too many of your overlords to Vikings and other such things. Fox looks to be starting up his medevac production, also looking to be going into Widow Mines. Very standard stuff here from both players. Looks like the lair about halfway done now. That should line up with his +1/+1 so he can get his next upgrades. No Baneling speed yet, which I'd very much like to see out of this Zerg player. Baneling speed is absolutely essential in dealing with a Bio-Terran army. Third base moving out here for Fox. Zergling spots it immediately, but there's nothing that one little guy can do. Overlord getting picked off. Lots of workers transferring over. That's very good for Fox. He's actually catching up in the economy to a pretty nice extent here. Lots and lots of Banelings on the way. Still no Baneling speed yet. Ton of missile turrets being started for Fox here as well. Looks like he wants to play extremely safe on this one. Does not want to lose anything to Mutas. Baneling speed does eventually start up. Armory is finishing just in time to get the +2/+2 upgrades. Fourth base starts for the Zerg player, and looks like Fox is going for a sort of drop to clear up some creep. Lots of Banelings, though, needs to watch out. Picks up immediately into the medevacs. 1 Baneling wasted for 1 Marine. That's a very good trade for Fox right here. Boosts out with the medevacs. Looks like not a whole lot is going to be happening. Widow Mines on the way here. Spire starts for the Zerg. I'm not sure if this is a late Spire or not. I don't watch this matchup enough, but I would assume it's about on time. +2 attack starts for Fox, and he looks to be being aggressive against this fourth base. Scoots up into the main, too. There's 2 spine crawlers in production here, but not a whole lot else. The Zerglings are running up from the bottom base, but there's not a whole lot here for Engluf to hold this off. The Banelings don't have speed, so they can't catch up to these Marines quite fast enough. Fox picks off a few drones, picks up, just leaves. No damage on either of these medevacs either. Honestly, he could scoot back into the fourth base and do something with that too. +2/+2 started for the Zerg player. His +2 armor is slightly faster than Terran's armor, so it could be a small advantage. Let's put it that way. Zerglings moving across the map here. Fox actually has no idea about this because he's not holding the watchtower, but he has a pretty sizable force at home, so he should be able to hold. Fox could do some pretty funny drop play to pick off a few of those Banelings, but with Baneling speed, he's probably just wanting to retain as much of his units as he can. Moves into the fourth base to try and pick something off as the other player moves into his third base. Loses a lot of Marines here pretty much for free. The Widow Mines aren't in position for this. The bunker's not going to finish. Wow, picks off a lot of those Banelings. Wow, beautiful, beautiful Widow Mine shots. Actually, the Widow Mines get picked off by the Banelings, but this push has pretty much been cleaned up, and there's nothing here at home for Engluf as his 4th base is being destroyed right now. And he loses an Evo chamber. A couple of good Baneling shots there will pick off the drop that's on the high ground. But the 4th base is going to go down. That means a 3-base Zerg versus a 3-base Terran, which is never a position you want to be in as a Zerg player. Fox actually needs to move these units here. They've been sitting there for a while. Bunch of Zerglings moving across the map now, about to trade with some Marines. The thing is, though, there's no Banelings with this army, so he can't trade with it. With Widow Mines and a Hellion backing it up, there's not a whole lot he can do. He's got to back up, try and reinvent his economy, and maybe get some Banelings. He's got 9 Mutas on the way, but Mutas aren't going to help versus this scary, scary Marine ball with a lot of Medivacs, actually. A lot of Medivacs. Looks like it's 27 Lings, 9 Mutas, and not a whole lot else. There's no Banelings, actually. Couple morphing right now, but not a whole lot. Versus 55 Marines, a Hellbat, and 7 of the Widow Mines. The Drilling Claws, okay, that's what that upgrade's called, is about halfway done now. I feel like, alright, +2 armor is almost done too. Fox should be careful and avoid an engagement until those 2 upgrades are finished, or at the very least +2 armor. He just stims forward, scans to clean up the creep. Does a little bit of damage to a Mutalisk, but there's a bit too much on the ground there. 44 Zerglings actually finishing right now. Needs to be very careful about this. He's got the 1 Hellbat and a couple of Widow Mines, but maybe needs to leapfrog these forward a bit. Ooh. Not able to bait out any shots out of the Widow Mines. That was a very sick play, but not quite good enough. +3. Ooh! Unburrows the Widow Mines, but a lot of the Zerglings run forward. Banelings aren't able to get good connections. Few of the Marines running forward, trying to scan, pick off a Queen, but that unit's not invisible, not at all. 25 Banelings on the way in the backfield over here. Fox doesn't know about this, but he's just going to pick up into his Medivacs and start dropping the main. And with the position that Fox has here right now, there's not a whole lot the Zerg player can do. The Zerg player got his 4th base back down in a different position, but man, he needs a lot more than this, I think. He can't stop Fox from taking this position and holding it as much as he wants. Bunch of Banelings on the high ground now, but that cues Fox to be able to just pick up, scoot out with his Medivacs, and just pick off a few Mutas there. Mutas are not cheap. You don't want to be trading Mutas against Marines. Bunch of Marines stimmed to the left side here. They look like they're going to pick off any potential 4th base. Shift-clicked to that area. Drops on the high ground here, just drawing the attention of the Zerg player so he can get an effective drop there. Zerg player scrambling, doesn't know what to do. Not a whole lot of Zerglings on the ground. Okay, 30 more Zerglings just popped. Fox, ooh, the 8 or 6 HP Medivac. That was a very good play. Snipes one of the Medivacs. You wanna stop as many of the Medivacs as you possibly can as the Zerg player. Zerg player losing his 4th base yet again. Wow, Fox actually overstims here pretty heavily. Loses all of those Marines essentially for free. Wow, scary, scary flock of Mutalisks right now. Looks like he's planning to go across the map and try and get something done. Bunch of Banelings run forward to help deal with these pesky Marines. Mutas scooting over towards the 3rd base. 4th command center going down for Fox right now, and he's actually starting up Thor production. Very action-packed game. Marauders trying to trade with 4 Queens, not going to happen. Scooting back up, there's another drop in the main. Looks like it's about to pick off the Infestation Pit. Not quite enough damage, though. Mutas going into the 3rd, trying their damnedest to pick anything off that they can, but they can't find any space. Mutas still sort of scooting around, trying to do anything that they possibly can to get an advantage here. But Fox looks incredibly solidified in this position. There's nothing the Zerg player can do to contest that. Walks forward, stims, tries to pick off a few creep tumors, just picks up and leaves. Muta's still just chilling here, not getting a whole lot done. I think maybe he could go into the main... Okay, there's a Thor trapped there. Maybe not the best idea. But maybe even just try, since he doesn't know that Thor's there, to go in and do anything he possibly can. Fox starting to be a little bit more aggressive on the creep now, burrowing Widow Mines. He's going for the death push now. Bunch of Mutas up here actually trading with Marines, not a very effective engagement. Fox a little bit distracted here, losing a lot of Marines to Banelings, but he's still able to just walk forward onto this creep. There's not a whole lot actually here for him. Wow, beautiful Widowmine shots on all of the Banelings. Actually picks off a lot of his force too. There's still Zerglings on the ground, but not a whole lot else for Fox. Fox has to back up with his Medivacs. Looks like the Mutas are coming into position to try and pick them off though. This could be really, really big for Engluf. He's actually broken out now. Picks off 1, 2, 3 Medivacs and backs up. Beautiful, beautiful plays here by Engluf. Needs to start saturating his 4th base though. Marines scooting on up to try and stim forward, take this down yet again. Mulisks scooting on back home. Wow! Beautiful, beautiful Widowmine shot, picking off a lot of Zerglings, as Engluf was not paying attention. Zerglings heading forward, but the 4th base is already gone. A huge, huge snipe by StillaFox. He's on 3-base economy versus a 3-base Zerg, and that's the main downfall of the Zerg right now. He simply doesn't have an... Okay, well, he has plenty of money, but he simply doesn't have the economy to sustain quite what he wants. He doesn't have the production. 10 Infestors and a Greater Spire on the way. My god. This game's going to get crazy real fast. Lots of money in the bank here for Fox. I'd like to see him throw on more barracks, more factories, and probably another, like, 2 starports at least. He doesn't have quite enough production to keep up with the amount of money he's pulling in. He expands, takes a 4th base. He's actually taking a 4th base before the Zerg, getting it up and running. 11 Banelings on the way. Let's check the units lost. It's actually 18,000... Wow. Really, 7,000 resources lost ahead is StillaFox right now. Actually picks off the worker building that missile turret. Only 1 second left on the build there. Pretty unfortunate. A lot of Lings on the way. Another 2 command centers. StillaFox is playing this out very, very well. 4th base still not up yet for the Zerg player. This is pretty painful. He needs to get some sort of working economy up as he's starting to run out of minerals. That big bank he had before was gone. Fox is maxed out right now, and Engluf is sitting on 130 supply, and he's not able to make much else because of how low his resource count is. 3-3, not even done yet. Fox has 3-3 on his bio, and no upgrades yet on the mech. He runs forward, picks off a bit of creep, kills some overlords, and then just backs up. And look at that, Engluf is supply blocked now. Not able to do a whole lot. These 10 Infestors, though, could get a lot done if they get good fungals on the bio army. There's not a whole lot of Widowmines here. Only just a handful. Okay, that's 6. That's still, it's a handful. I could hold all of those Widowmines in my hand. No problem. Lots of Banelings, lots of Zerglings. The muta count has thinned out significantly, though. There's not a whole lot else on the ground here, though. Just these 10 Infestors. And I'm a little bit worried for Engluf's position because he doesn't have a very strong army against this. The mutas are going to get picked off very easily against the Thors. And these Banelings aren't going to get anything done with the Widowmine shots we've seen thus far. He's starting to get Flyer Carapace, but it's a little bit late for that. He still hasn't taken a 4th base. He's got the money to. I don't know why he doesn't. The Zerg player really needs to take a 4th base and get some sort of working economy up. Fox lifts up, floats on into the main, and looks to be taking out that infestation pit. A little bit of typing there accidentally lets that medevac get picked off. Infestation pit goes down, kills off the spine crawler in the main, and there's actually no reaction for this though. Okay, the broodlings are really good apparently. But there's nothing in the main. These Zerglings are just being sent now. This Marine and Marauder can kinda ooh, there's 2 Banelings here actually. Okay, that will get picked off. Fox, it looks like he wants to go for another drop. Infestation pit being rebuilt. Actually, Corruptor's on the way. He looks like he's going for Broodlords. The boys are being pulled. Looks like Fox has enough workers that he can... Let's actually check the worker count. 64 to 65. It looks like he's just sacking workers so that he can get a slightly bigger army. Baneling's actually being wasted on the workers here. Very, very wasteful. Not what you want. Infestor's getting a beautiful fungal on that giant ball. But losing 1 Infestor in the process, maybe not so worth it. Medevac's dropping here again, picking off the long-distance mining workers, but there's no 4th base here. There hasn't been a 4th base at all. He's starting to run out of resources in the natural, even starting to run out of resources in the 3rd, and he's still just long-distance mining. Baneling's being wasted on this drop right now, when Zerglings would have done the job just as handily. Worker's actually about to kill this queen over here. I want to see it happen. Will the queen die to these 3 workers? Oh my god, no! No! Alright. Okay, Infestor getting picked off there by the Widowmine. Thor is actually dying to Broodlords. A lot of stuff being dropped in the main right now, but how's he going to deal with the Broodlords? There's nothing in the sky right now. He only has 2 Vikings, and he's forced to lift up and back off. Oh my god. He survived! 7 HP Queen. What a baller. This Marauder walking forward into, like, the saddest death of them all. What does Fox actually have to deal with these Broodlords right now? He's taking a 5th base right now, while the Zerg is still only on 3. The Zerg needs to spend these 300 minerals and expand and get something done, because he's in a... Ooh, losing very sloppy there. Good fungal, but he lost a lot of stuff there. He needs to focus fire the Broodlords onto the Marines and Marauders, as those are the things trapped in position. Very, very nice trades here for the Zerg player. There's not actually a whole lot on the ground here for Fox. He's not really able to walk forward. He's got a lot of Widow Mines, but against Broodlings, that's not going to help a whole lot. Kills off the Broodlings, but does a lot of splash damage to his army as well. And here we see just a lot of infested Terrans, a lot of free units scooting along the ground. This man is taking a page out of the... I guess the Wings of Liberty books right now. Broodlord Infestor for the win. There's not quite enough on the ground here for Fox to deal with these scary 8 Broodlords. There's a lot of Banelings on the ground too. He cannot walk forward into this. Zerg player finally gets his 4th base up and running, and I don't know, man. There's not a whole lot in the air protecting these. He can walk these Vikings forward. Only one of them getting fungled here. Needs to be careful with these Infestors. Double fungals. All right connections, considering how little and how spread out they were. But it's very scary dealing with these Broodlords. Vikings starting to get some pretty good shots off, but Corruptors are in the area to help pick this off. And Banelings are out of the field. Marines try and get on top of the Broodlords, but there's just too many Broodlings. Fox is forced to back up a little bit. He may have played a bit too greedy against the very aggression-focused Zerg. Did not spend quite as much supply on trying to expand and get his worker count up. 3rd base forced to lift off, may burn down, but hopefully not. There's still 5 Broodlords. I keep trying to say Brutalists. That's not what they are at all. And a lot of Infestors still on the ground. Queen's actually here to transfuse, but there's just not a whole lot of army here for Fox. He's got 45 Marines, 4 Vikings, and a Thor, but he needs a lot more than that. Zerg is actually barely mining right here. So if he holds this, if Fox holds this, he's going to be in a game-winning position. He has like 4 times the Zerg player's income right now, but it's going to be a toss-up whether or not he's able to hold this. Getting on top of these Broodlords is going to be extremely difficult with the Infestors down below to fungal anything that comes up. There's Vikings sitting sort of idle here. He needs to get these to work, picking off the Broodlords. He needs to focus fire those Broodlords and get them dead, because that's the real problem of this army. Small fungal here on the army. It's going to be a close hold, though. There's a lot of stuff in the sky shooting down the Corruptors. Marines are starting to get under the Broodlords. The Infestor's not doing a whole lot. They throw out a lot of infested Terrans, but it seems like it's too late. The damage is already done. The Broodlords have already been focused down, and there's only 3 Corruptors left in the sky. A bunch of Infestors on the ground. But look at this. Stim's pulling forward. He's far ahead in the army supply. Almost 30 supply up from Engluf. And the Infestors are forced to burrow and run away. All of the Corruptors get picked off. And the Zerg player doesn't... He has the money to... But look, he's losing his 4th base again. He has the money to get up in supply, but he doesn't have the production facilities. There were no queens on these hatches injecting, so he's only got a marginal amount of larvae. There's still idle drones, banelings. There's just so many macro elements not quite there for Engluf. He wasn't quite on top of getting everything working. Another drop at the 3rd base here might pick off the infestation pit and all of the rest of the workers, really. There's not a whole lot here. Infestor hit squads trying to get things done, but there's only so much you can do as an infestor burrowed underground. Medevac scooting on home here. Look, this drop is going completely uncontested here. He tries to take a 4th base now, but it looks like it's too late. Fox is already on 5 mining, or, well, he's on 5 base, but a couple of these bases are not mining. Still has a couple of resources here at the 3rd base, not a whole lot. Finally, oh, not even. Didn't even clean up that the drop at the 3rd base. Having to pull drones here to kill a Marauder, this is painful. There's not quite enough DPS on those drones. Oh, okay. Does not lose another drone. That's all right. He's in a very bad spot though. I'm curious to see how much longer this game goes because he can't have that much left over. There's just not a whole lot for him. If we look at the units tab, it's just those 9 infestors, and that's his whole army. There's nothing left for him. Against 56 Marines, 7 Marauders, this is going to be a very tight hold, if one at all. We see Fox moving forward here. Alright, that was a very good fungal. Can he chain it? He does chain it, picks off this entire ball of Marines. Uses a lot on infested Terrans. Good fungals here. He might actually hold this. Another good fungal. There's not a whole lot left here for Fox, but... Alright, with the infested Terrans, he is forced to leave, but look at the income. Look at 12 Marines being made at a time right here. He's got so much money, and he's got so much income. He's doubling his opponent's income. His opponent isn't even mining gas. There's no mining going on right now for the Zerg player, and he's just in a very bad spot. And yep, that's GG. There wasn't enough army to contest that sort of big bio ball. Too much alliteration for me. Anyway, very fun game to watch. Thank you so much, Fox, for sending in this beautiful replay. Had a lot of fun casting it. My name is Walnut, and I will probably be casting more games later. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time.